Hello, social sellers. Laura Harris here, the founder of the Social Selling Revolution. And what I want to talk to you about today is how to identify who are your warm leads on social media, who should I be talking to, and like how should I reach out to them. So last week we talked about attraction marketing and how post and pray isn't exactly a strategy. That's one piece of it. But you also have to be engaging and outreach, and you have to also be a part of that attraction marketing. It is not a completely passive process like a lot of us are taught or think that it is, and then we wonder why it's not working for us. So if we take that next step of who do we need to be talking to be putting in our lean in effort of the attraction marketing process, I'm going to give you 5 very specific signs, groups of people, ways that you can know that these are good people to reach out to, okay? And I'm going to keep the training pretty short today because I want to give you these tips and then I want you to go do it. I want to get you into action, okay? So if you look at the 30-day tracker that we have available in the group, if you're using that, you'll see that every single day there is a call to action for creating a piece of content, doing some engagement, and doing some outreach. So today we're really going to talk about that outreach piece. If you're like, I've already been through my list, I don't want to sell to family or friends, whatever. If you're at a point where you're like, I just need more people to talk to, that's the step we're going to talk about today. So 5 very specific places that you can look on social media to reach out and take that step and message somebody. And I want to be very, very, very clear. And I said this on the training last week too. There is a difference between cold messaging and doing outreach to people that have maybe raised a hand, or you actually genuinely think based on their behavior and engagement with you that they might be interested in learning what you're doing or that you can help them with something. Okay. That is very different than a cold message. I do not teach cold messaging. Cold messaging is like so 1998 of basically messaging people you don't know and have never talked to before and you just friended them yesterday. I would never, ever, ever teach that. So I'm going to teach how to do intentional engagement with people that make sense. Okay. So the number one group to look at is people who are liking your posts. This seems pretty simple, but a lot of us are going to say, well, they didn't like my business post or they didn't like my product post. That's okay. If they like every single other post that you've ever done, like they're leaning in. And the message can be this simple. And you can use this message for a lot of these different groups I'm about to talk about. Just say, hey, Sarah, I just wanted to take a moment to tell you how much I appreciate you engaging with my content or liking my content, commenting on my content, whatever. I just really appreciate you and I wanted to take a moment to say thanks. I'm just curious, are you just being supportive or are you interested in learning more about what I do? Be a human. Don't make it weird. Like, hey, I see you. Like, I appreciate you. And do you want to learn more? Or are you just like here loving my content? And when I use that script, I get a really high response rate. And I probably get, 75%, oh, I'm just being supportive, love what you're doing, whatever. And of course, your response might depend on how you use social media, right? Like the type of content you put out. And I also get about 25%, I'd say, that are like, like I've been meaning to reach out to you, or like, I don't even know what you do. I get that too. And I'm like, oh crap, I need to create better content. But it gives you at least like that conversation and that feedback loop. So that's a really, really good script, some version of that script to use. So people that are liking your posts, that's group number 1. People that are commenting on your posts. Some people aren't big on like liking and hearting posts for whatever reason, but they'll go in and comment on every single one. So make sure you're not missing the people that are commenting and talking to you, but maybe not necessarily liking all of your posts. That's group number 2. And it's going to be the same script. Change it up a little bit. Like, hey, I really appreciate you like always answering the fun questions that I post on Facebook. Like, it's really nice to be able to get to know you more. Just curious. Are you just being supportive and having fun, or would you like to learn more about what I'm doing? Okay, so modify that to make sense. Make it make sense, right? So that's number 2, people that are commenting and creating conversation on your posts. Number 3, people that are watching your stories. This is a big one. You should already know this, but when you go into your stories, you can swipe up to see who viewed your story if you didn't already know. And people that are watching an entire sequence, again, it's a very similar script. Like, hey, Sarah, I really appreciate you like watching all my content. Is there anything that I can do to support you? Are you interested in learning more about what I'm doing? Anything like that, okay? Just the recognition, because people want to be seen and they want to be appreciated. And so if we're like leading with that, like, hey, I see you, and like, thank you so much for watching my content. What I'll do in stories, which I could probably do a whole training on stories, is if I do a sequence of business posts, product posts, whatever, let's just say I do 5 tiles in a row talking about Happy Juice, and somebody watches all the way to the end of that, that's information for me, right? Because they know it's about Happy Juice, but they keep going, right? And we can't see if they flip through or watch the entire tile. We don't have that much information. But still, if I did a whole 10 slides talking about my trip and my conference and business and things like that, and you watched the whole thing, I'm probably going to reach out to you. So like, I kind of build this cadence for myself of like, create the content, give it 24 to 48 hours, let it marinate, and then follow up with people. Okay, especially if it's a business or a product post. So people who are watching your stories, especially if they watch a whole sequence, and especially if it's about business or product, I would reach out to them. Number 4, in Messenger. So this will work for Facebook or Instagram. These last 2 groups are going to be what the algorithm is basically feeding you. And I'll tell you a little bit about like how this works. But if you go into Messenger, let's just say go into Facebook Messenger, the people that you see across the top, those are going to be the people that you most actively engage with, whether that's DMs or feed, whatever. Those are the people that Facebook thinks you want to talk to. So, excuse me, it's using its algorithm to say, hey, you might want to talk to Sarah, or you might want to talk to David. So the first few you'll probably recognize. That'll be like your best friends you interact with all the time. But keep scrolling. Keep scrolling over. Keep scrolling over. Some people may surprise you. So every once in a while, that's a great place to pick up leads, is just scroll through there and see who Facebook thinks you want to talk to and reach out to them. And the last one is also going to be algorithm based. And this might sound really silly, but just hear me out. People that show up on your feed. People that show up on your feed. Same thing. There is an algorithm happening behind the scenes. So if you go on your feed, you might see a lot of the same people all the time. But keep scrolling, right? If you're like, oh, I already talked to them, I already talked to them, I already talked to them. Oh, I forgot about her. I haven't talked to her yet. Again, Facebook is giving you people on your feed it thinks that you should be talking to or that you want to talk to. So use that information to your advantage and connect with those people on your feed. Now, if it's someone that you're like, I don't remember them liking any of my stuff, so like, I don't really know how to start the conversation, just shoot them a message. And just say, hey, Karen, like you popped up on my feed. It was really nice to see your face this morning. How are you and Doug? I see that you just got back from a trip from the Bahamas. The pictures look amazing. I hope you had a great time. Be a human. Say something. And that's at least planting a seed with somebody that, for whatever reason, is already leaning in or moving towards you. That's a warm lead if they're on your feed. That rhymed, so you won't forget that one. All right, so those are the 5 places. So like I said, I want you to get into action today. Like, go revisit these places. It's definitely going to stir up some names. It's going to stir up some people that are like, oh crap, like I haven't talked to that person yet. And you can do this on repeat, you guys. So this is like, you create the content, you see who's leaning in, you do your outreach, you do your follow-up when applicable, and then you just repeat that cycle. And the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it, because people are going to give you feedback. You're going to learn what scripts and, how to word things that people respond correctly and how you're actually saying what you're trying to say. You're planting seeds with these people. You're depositing into that brand equity and building rapport with them. And you're boosting your algorithm with that person. So like, these one-on-one outreaches are so important, because even if Sarah isn't interested today, she might be interested in a month when she loses her job, and you want to be the person at the top of her feed. that she's been watching your business, and you've already reached out to her, so you've planted that seed. So it's all about timing. It's all about building rapport with people. And these are the people that are already leaning into you. So you need to lean them back. Remember the magnet analogy that we talked about last week. Okay. So if you are watching this anywhere other than in my private training community on Facebook, go to thesocialsellingrevolution.com. I do free weekly trainings and provide resources for people that are in network marketing, MLM, affiliate marketing, brand ambassadors, whatever you want to call it, whatever your business looks like, anybody that's doing social selling, I am here to help you. So thank you guys for tuning in. Let's get into action, and I will see you next week.